I was meditating when I noticed something strange. I had my eyes closed, but it felt like there were countless hands around me, closing in and pulling at my body. I immediately felt uncomfortable. I looked down. It was just an ant, not a hand at all. At first, it didn't seem like a big deal, but then I looked around. The floor was covered in more than just one ant. I followed their trail. It led me to a hole in the wall. I couldn't understand. I rushed over to take a closer look. The hole was pitch black. I couldn't see anything. Before I knew it, my scalp started itching intensely. I had no idea what was happening, but in the days that followed, strange things kept happening. I found myself scratching absent-mindedly at work. Even at night, while talking with my boyfriend before bed, I would suddenly start scratching my scalp without realizing it. The situation grew worse. I even tried using a sanding block to scratch my head. It felt like I was losing control. Then, one day, I went to the warehouse to grab something. What happened next made me realize how dangerous things had become. I was just rummaging through some old items. Then, I heard footsteps behind me. When I turned around, all the lights in the room flickered on. The footsteps turned into the sound of a woman crying. Was someone in trouble in the warehouse? I rushed over to check. The crying was coming from the right side of the warehouse. I crouched down and asked if anyone needed help, but as soon as I looked down, I realized there was no one there. Only ants crawling all over the floor. Just as I was trying to understand where they came from, a dark figure appeared in the mirror. It grabbed me from behind. I jumped in shock. It was just the warehouse manager. But from that moment on, I became more cautious. I rushed home and sealed the hole in the wall with cement and plaster, but the itching on my scalp never stopped. Late one night, an ant crawled into my nostril. I was sleeping on the couch when I suddenly felt something strange. The ant in my nose made me cough uncontrollably. It felt like I couldn't breathe. And then, thousands of ants started crawling out of my body. It felt like my limbs were no longer mine, as if the ants were controlling me. The next morning, everything seemed like it had been a nightmare, but the strange events kept happening. I started searching online for answers, but I found nothing. A few days later, while doing some craft work, a photo album fell off a nearby cabinet. It was a photo album of my parents, but my mother had passed away when I was very young. I tried to remember her, but then I noticed something strange. There were red dots all over her arm. I quickly grabbed a magnifying glass. It was full of scratch marks. Had my mother experienced the same thing? The title of the movie is Control Freak.